They counted on your loyalty. And I want you to really sit with that for a second, because it wasn't just that they liked having you around. No, they needed you to stay small. They needed you to keep coming back. They needed you to believe that without them, without their approval, their validation, their little table that they let you sit at, you were nothing. And for a while, honestly, it worked. And that's not something to be ashamed of, because the version of you that believed that version was doing the best they could with what they had. That version hadn't seen what you've seen yet, hadn't been through what you've been through yet, hadn't lost what you've lost yet. And sometimes it takes losing the wrong things to finally find out what you're actually made of. So let's talk about what happened. There was a point, and you know exactly what point I'm talking about, where something shifted. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic. Nobody threw a party for it, but something inside of you just stopped asking for permission, stopped shrinking in rooms where you used to make yourself small, stopped performing for people who never really saw you in the first place. And the moment that happened, the moment you stopped feeding that dynamic, you found out real fast who actually wanted you versus who just wanted what you were giving them. Because here's the thing about people who need you to need them. The second you don't anymore, they panic. They don't know what to do with the version of you that doesn't call them crying at 2 a.m., that doesn't ask for their opinion before making their decisions. They built their entire self-image around being the one you leaned on, and when you stood up straight, it shook something in them. It revealed something about them that they weren't ready to face. So what did they do? They called it arrogance. They said you changed like it was an accusation. They started distancing themselves, or worse, they started talking. And the people who talked the most were the ones who benefited the most from the old you. Pay attention to that. Always pay attention to that. But here's what they didn't account for. They didn't account for the fact that you were watching, quietly the way you do, taking notes the way you do, processing everything at a depth that most people genuinely don't have access to. You weren't just healing, you were studying. You were watching how people moved when they thought you weren't looking. You were watching who showed up when you had nothing to offer, who disappeared the second you stopped being convenient, who celebrated your wins, and who went just a little bit quiet when things started going right for you. And you filed all of that away, not out of bitterness, not out of revenge, just out of this deep, quiet knowing that you've always had but maybe didn't trust enough before. The kind of knowing that doesn't need proof because it just feels true before the evidence ever arrives. And then the evidence always arrives, doesn't it? That's the thing about your growth. It's not just external. It's not just the results that people can see. It goes inward. It goes into your nervous system, into the way you carry yourself, into the way you don't flinch anymore at the things that used to send you spiraling. You've been building something that most people spend their entire lives looking for and never finding, and you've been building it in silence. Now they're watching, and there's something almost poetic about it, because these are the same people who wrote you off. The same ones who had opinions about your potential, your choices, your direction. The same ones who subtly talked you out of things, who planted seeds of doubt so casually you didn't even realize it was happening at the time. You thought it was concern, you thought it was honesty. But looking back now, and you've looked back, I know you have, it was protection. Protection of their position, protection of the version of you that made them feel relevant. And now they're watching you build, watching you move different, watching you walk into rooms with a presence that you honestly can't even explain yourself. You just know it's there because people respond to you differently now. They watch you make decisions that make no sense to them because they don't have access to your vision. They can't see what you see. They never could. That was always the gap between you and them, even when you were doubting yourself, even when you thought maybe they were right about you. They weren't. They were never right about you. And I need you to understand something about the rise that you're in the middle of right now, because you are in the middle of it, not at the end of it. This is not the peak. This is not the part where you coast. The version of you that exists right now This is the foundation. This is just what you're building from. The things that are coming for you are going to require this version of you. They're going to require the clarity you've earned, the boundaries you've built, the discernment you've developed through every single lesson that you refuse to run from. Because you didn't run. That's the part that matters. Everyone goes through fire. Not everyone chooses to understand the fire. You chose to understand it. And that choice compounded. Every time you chose truth over comfort, clarity over convenience, growth over the easy familiarity of staying the same, it compounded. And that's what people are seeing now. They're not just seeing success. They're seeing what happens when someone refuses to abandon themselves over and over and over again. So let them watch. Let them try to figure out when it happened, what shifted, what you did differently. Let them have their theories. Let them rewrite the story now that the story is going well. You don't need to correct them. You don't need to explain yourself. The work explains itself. The life you're building explains itself. You're not doing this to prove something to them anymore. That's actually what changed. You stopped building for an audience and started building for something that goes so much deeper than that. And ironically, that's the exact moment it became something worth watching. They thought you needed them. And maybe once in a version of yourself you've long since outgrown, you did. But look at you now. They counted on your dependency. They never counted on your becoming.